Hello, my cookies. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have just sort of a basic Indian vegetarian curry. Now, these are fantastic, and the reason why I wanted to do one of these is because I typically don't do it. I'm going to try and make it a little bit different, but try and keep it as authentic as possible, because I have a whole bunch of allergies. So I'll show you how to make it the right way, and I'm just going to finagle it and have it be in a way so I can taste it and eat it and carry on that way. But it's delicious, it's full of flavor, it's vegetarian, it's hearty, like a nice stew. It's even vegan. I'm not necessarily going to be making it vegetarian, but this is a vegetarian dish. We're going to be doing this vegetarian curry. What I like about this is it's an extremely basic version of this. You can make it your own, and that's typically what people do. You can use different vegetables, you can use different spice mixtures. Literally, the world is your limit. There's nothing to stop you from changing it the way you want. The first things first, let's get our ingredients for our spice mixture. You're going to need some ground mustard, some ground coriander, some ground cumin, some ground ginger, some ground turmeric, some ground cinnamon, salt, pepper, and then any heat, any spice you want. Cayenne, red pepper flakes, Aleppo, dried chilies, anything. For whatever reason, you don't want to go through the trouble of making your own. You can always buy garam masalas or other curry mixtures, and you can just find one that you like and go with that. A lot easier. And I get it. We're all home cooks here. So now that we've got our ingredients, let's get our ingredients for the curry. Now, cookies. Hope you're paying attention. For this curry, these are the ingredients you're going to need. Frozen peas, vegetable stock or chicken stock if you don't care about making it vegetarian or vegan. Small head of cauliflower. If it's a large head, half. Just shy of a pound of red potatoes. Half a cup of coconut milk. Make sure that it's mixed together. Shake up the can before you open it so it's kind of homogeneous. If you don't like coconut milk, you can absolutely sub heavy cream here. I don't really care for coconut milk, so I'm going to sub heavy cream, but coconut milk, it's a very specific flavor. Very nice. It kind of makes the curry what it is. So I wouldn't skip it unless you'd have to. You're also going to need some diced tomatoes, a can of chickpeas, an onion, some garlic, some cilantro, and some fresh ginger. Now that we've gathered our ingredients, let's get cooking. We're going to prep the ingredients. This is a large onion. If you don't have a large one, 2 small ones are fine. You want a good amount of onion here. I'm just going to dice it up between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. All right, now for the potatoes, I have slightly less than a pound. 12 to 16 ounces is perfect. I'm going to dice it up into about 1/2 inch pieces. You don't need to peel them. Just make sure you wash them thoroughly. And if you have a little bit more, like a pound, be generous with your trim. I don't like to waste food, but I don't want it to be too potato forward here. Let's get dicing 1/2 inch pieces. All right, I'm going to put a generous amount of oil in here. I'm going to be about 3 tablespoons. I'm going to heat that over medium-high heat. Our oil's hot, so let's get our potatoes in and onions. It's going to hit that with about a teaspoon of kosher salt here. So if you're using table salt, do less. The goal is to get those potatoes a little bit golden brown, so this could take upwards of 8 minutes. As soon as they start to soften, I'm going to add my spice mixture, which is typically a little bit earlier than I add the spices to bloom and don't want to burn them. So keep an eye on that. And you're going to need about a tablespoon of grated ginger. But people sometimes scratch the skin off with a spoon or whatnot, back of a spoon. I just use a knife. Ain't nobody got time. I'm just going to do a tablespoon of ginger and mince up these 3 large garlic cloves. Get our garlic going here. For our spice mixture, I'm going to be doing a tablespoon ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, teaspoon of ground mustard. We're doing 2 teaspoons of ground turmeric, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Mix all that up. And then I'm going to do about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, fresh ground pepper. We're going to add our spice mixture now. Make sure to stir often. And if you need to add a little bit more of vegetable oil to make sure that this blooms properly, do that. I'm probably going to add a little bit more myself. Should be about 3 tablespoons of the curry powder that you put in. Oh, look at that. It's already turning everything bright. We got a little bit of brown in here on the bottom. That's fine. Keep cooking it until it's fragrant. It's going to take a couple minutes. And then we're going to add our ginger and our garlic, and we're going to cook until that's fragrant. It's going to take about 30 seconds. Starting to stick. Let's keep it moving. Let's get our ginger and our garlic in right now. Don't worry, the browning that's on the bottom, we're gonna deglaze. We're gonna pick it all up. Tasty, delicious browning. Now for your vegetable stock or chicken stock, if you don't care about it being vegan or whatnot, it's gonna be about 1.5 cups. Scrape up all that delicious browning. It's gonna take a little elbow grease. Now let's work on our cauliflower. I'm just gonna kind of let that sit. Keep it on as low heat as possible. This will give the potatoes an even more jump start. They take a little bit longer than the cauliflower to cook. So 2, 3, 4 more minutes, however long it takes you to cut up the cauliflower. So I'm just gonna take this small head of cauliflower and cut it into about 1-inch florets. Now, if you have a large head, just use half, 1-inch florets. All right, let's get this cauliflower board. Watch your hands. Last time I did cauliflower on stream, I stabbed myself while I was telling people to be careful not to stab themselves. 1-inch florets. It's about 1.5 inches, so a teeny bit smaller than that. All right, I'm gonna stir these in a couple minutes. All right, stir our cauliflower in. We're also going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes. Going to add the full can with the liquid as well. Now this might get a little confusing, so I'm gonna try and be clear. I can't eat things like legumes. I have an allergy to all legumes. Chickpeas are a legume, peas are a legume. Right now is when I would add my chickpeas. I'd open the can, I'd drain them, I'd rinse them, and I'd add them right now and let them stew. So everything's gonna cook. You want it to simmer, medium-low heat, for about 20 minutes. You want the cauliflower to be tender, you want the potatoes to be tender, you want the flavors to meld. So add your chickpeas in now. I'm gonna pretend to. Here we go, add in the chickpeas. Boop. Again, it's gonna cook for about 25 minutes. So brought it up to a simmer on medium-low heat. You can drop it down to low. If the simmer's too robust, too intense, get a lid on it. Our curry is pretty much done. All the vegetables are tender, but they're still holding together. They look to be the perfect consistency. Now it's time to add 1/2 cup of coconut milk. Let's give that a stir. Look at that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful curry here. Fantastic. Now it's time to add the peas. Stir those in, continue to cook on low heat. You can cover it, not cover it, doesn't matter. It's gonna take about 2 minutes for them to cook through. I got my plate of jasmine rice right here. Here comes the delicious curry. Let's hit this with a little bit of cilantro. All right, here it goes. Love the cilantro. I love all the spices in there. They really mix together. Coriander, turmeric, cumin, they're right there. Get that little hint of cinnamon. The textures here are amazing. It's nice and creamy. It's saucy. It's like a nice stew. I get bites of potato, bites of cauliflower. The tomatoes add a nice little bit of acidity. And this rice just soaks everything up. Cilantro, when you get a nice bite of that. It's delicious. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, don't forget you can follow me on YouTube, Twitch. I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time. Take care.